Hiya, my name is Scott Wood. I'm a Business Development Director here at Reward Funding in Leeds, and I just wanted to talk through with you today how we've funded a £5 million loan facility and a bit of background to that, that's all. So a real whirlwind tour of the deal. It's got introduced by an existing client who had a positive funding requirement with Reward. The client itself, it's a logistics business based locally here in West Yorkshire, turns over 30 million, is profitable, has a real niche in doing food and beverage and an excellent client base, which I'll come back to in a minute, but ultimately its USP here was the strength of its client base, and it's all underpinned by long-term contracts at profitable level. Ultimately, its current funders didn't want to know for various reasons that they see fit. So in terms of what we did, we funded it in two phases. Client required 100% funding to buy a premises next door. There's a real synergy and they required the space to fulfill a contract. So it made operating efficiencies having another building right next door which could effectively operate as one site. We funded that by taking the first charge on the acquisition property, also a second charge on their existing premises, having worked with their bank to achieve that format. Shortly after, we see when often there's an acquisition, cost has got a bit too much in getting it fit for purpose. It required additional funding. We did that as well as repaying their existing bank commercial mortgage provider. Given we were increasing our debt to 5 million, we saw it fit that we then take first charges across the full two sites, exit them as there, and ultimately Reward Funding becoming their senior debt provider. The reasons what we got to a yes and banks got to a no was focused more around, we understood the forward look position was underpinned with a great client base and those contracts, whereas the bank were looking at historic serviceability, which just wasn't there. This is a growth opportunity and takes a more refreshing approach. And we've actually give them a longer 18-month period to mature that site now, return to the profitable levels expected, and ultimately exit back to a bank where it probably should be anyway. So that's a real whirlwind tour. I hope that gave you some examples of a good example of how we've done a larger debt of 5 million to an excellent trading business.